Hello, and welcome back to the Sausage Keb podcast for our third and final BTCC race of the day at Silverstone. So we've already done two um, races so far, which were thoroughly entertaining. We've seen Jake Hill take a victory in race two, and we watched Rory Butcher take a victory in race one. So this race is the reverse grid race, which is coming up shortly. Um, I'm slightly behind again on my Sky Go app, etc., but the on-screen timings and maps should keep us up to date, hopefully. So, more adverts. But yeah, if you're in the stream, make sure that you give us a little like, subscribe to the channel, and have a little comment down in the comments section, and I'll see them and I can answer you and talk to you, etc., as we go through it. The reverse grid is going to be on pole position is Josh Cook, who was pulled out the hat. So then the drivers who form up behind him are Dan Camish in second. We've got Adam Morgan in third, Tom Ingram fourth, Ash Sutton fifth, Gordon Shedden in sixth, Rory Butcher in seventh, um, Jake Hill in eighth, uh, Bobby Thompson ninth, Aaron Taylor Smith 10th, Ollie Jackson in 11th, and Chilton makes up the top 12. As we go through it, we'll run down the full order, um, I'm sure, at some point, but it's making for quite an interesting race. Make sure all my timing screens and everything else are up to date. I've got to watch for where I position this because you can maybe see the reflection in that picture behind me, which isn't ideal. So yeah, we're just waiting on the cars to kind of come out the garages. Probably have to do a formation lap. Then they have to do all the grid kind of procedure where lots and lots of people swarm the grid and get their photos taken with the drivers, etc. Just going to see if we've got an up to date. So the race should start at around about 10 past 5. So in about 10 minutes. And I wonder if the championship standings have been updated. Yeah, but we've had plenty of action today. We've had a few cars go off the track with certain different issues. Oops, daisy, what's going on there? Chambers is causing havoc. Is what's going on there. There we go. That's a bit better. And we'll get this back open. Yeah, we've had a couple of cars going off track. We've had a few punctures. We've had one car going on fire. That was Ricky Collard. So it'll be interesting to see if he's out for race three. He did seem to take on quite a lot of fumes. He was, spitting and rubbing his eyes, and it seemed like he was trying to get the taste out of his mouth. So sadly, it seems like he took ingested a fair bit of smoke. Inhaled it. It was quite a bad fire. So we'll see if that Toyota manages to get out for race three. It depends what damage has been done. So they're talking about just now on the TV that Colin Turkington will be devastated about that first race incident where he spun out, because basically the rest of the championship contenders have scored good points today, and Colin will be absolutely fuming. I was in the wrong window there. We're back. I did have a bit of a fright there. I thought I wasn't live for a second, but I am live. It just went 5 now, so some people might trickle in, they might not. Looking in the background on ITV, it does look like the weather is picking up a little bit. It seems like there's a bit of wind. So let's have a little look. Weather. Still no chance of rain really, but the wind has picked up a little bit. Track temperatures dropped from 26 degrees down to 19 degrees, 19.5 degrees. Air temperature is the same as it was earlier. It's been pretty consistent the whole day. Slightly higher this morning, but not big. Good, we are live. I did worry for a second there that we weren't. So it will be getting a little bit darker, won't it? It doesn't really get dark until maybe about 7ish now, I don't think, but one more break, I think, from the BTCC, from ITV, and then we'll be over to the main race. So what else have we got? What was the result of that first race? So race results wise, in that race too, so as we said, Jake Hill took the win. Rory Butcher came second. He fended off his brother-in-law Gordon Shedden, who took third. Ash Sutton managed to get fourth. Tom Ingram was fifth. He just couldn't quite get past Ash Sutton, which will be interesting in the next race because I think they've reversed places. Yes, they have. Ingram is in fact in front of Sutton for the next race, so he's got to do it all again. Adam Morgan was sixth. He's in third for the final race. Dan Camish was seventh. Josh Cook finished eighth. He was promoted to pole position on the reverse grid. Bobby Thompson's ninth. So he still starts ninth, and then it's the same back. So Aaron Taylor Smith. So just looking down the grid, really. Was there any standouts? Obviously, Dexter Patterson had a problem, so he had to retire. Sadly, after I think it was 21 laps, so he's kicking himself a little bit because I think it was extended to 24 laps. Nick Hamilton, he did not finish. He completed 13 laps. I believe he had a bit of contact with Rick Parfitt Jr. So there's a possibility that he damaged the front of his car doing that. I've spoke about Ricky Collard retirement. He went on fire. Will Powell still kind of struggling in that. Team Hard, Cupra Leon. Jade Edwards 24th. Not sure what happened where she might have had a bit of contact there. She made some good progress in race 1. Sam Osborne was in 23rd. Jack Patel went up to 22nd. I think he might have actually, did he DNF in the first race? Yes, he DNF'd in the first race, so he made good progress in the second race. Jack Patel. Ash Hand has made decent progress considering he had to start the first race from the pits. Well, his car wouldn't start on the grid, and then he ended up in the kitty litter. So George Gamble was in 20th. Michael Crease, our man there, number 777, in the Vauxhall Astra with Car Store. He was in 19th. So his race position, he'll still start 19th for race 3. Hopefully to make up some positions, but he's got Dan Rowbottom in front of him, then Jason Plato. These guys all seem to be in quite a big long train together where they can't seem to break the kind of... Sorry, I'm just listening to Josh Cook interview on the television. Hey, HT. It's just me and you. Just listening to Josh Cook just now. He's saying he's kind of locked in, getting that reverse grid. So Josh Cook's went reverse grid pole. I don't know if you've managed to watch any of it, Harry. I'll do a little rundown of the grid in a minute. Yeah, both entertaining, really good races. It'll be interesting. There'll be a few to watch in this race, I think. There will be a few to watch in this race. I think Camish, he's been quick all weekend, but he's saying that he was complaining a little bit that he can't really show his pace because Sutton was in front of him. Well, he can change that this race because he's on second and Sutton's away down in 5th. And Sutton's got to get past Ingram and that's a championship contender just now. I think it will be very hectic. I think it'll be very hectic this race. Yeah, Collard, he did nearly smoke himself out. He seemed when he threw himself out the car, he must have took on a fair bit of smoke. I think a fair bit of fumes because just the way he threw himself out the car. It must have let go quite soon after he maybe smelt the fumes. Then he maybe lost a bit of performance maybe in the engine, and then by the time that happened, he's looking for somewhere to pull the car over. And then you've got to get out, haven't you? Then you've got to. I mean, I think they do a test to see that you can get out these cars and in them and in the car and out the car in a certain space of time. But Ricky Collard's quite a small guy, but he's obviously thrown himself out the car because he's took in a fair bit of fumes. I think he might have done the onboard extinguisher. They said that in the commentary, didn't they? But I think they might have done the onboard extinguisher first time round, but then he went back to turn the ignition off. But I don't know. We'll find out from him. But he was choking, yeah, and he was doing it quite a bit afterwards as well when he was leaving the track. So I just don't know if his car's on the grid. I've not seen it yet. So Tom Ingram just now, he's speaking on the grid to Louise Goodman. He's got his mirrors full of Ash Sutton, but he's also wedged between himself and Adam Morgan, he's had a solid weekend. Adam Morgan. Yeah, it's interesting. Hopefully Turks makes a good progress. Yeah, I mean, His weekend, I mean, this can happen to anyone next weekend, though. This is the thing, isn't it? If it's a four-way title and you've got 15, 20 points covering the top four or whatever it's going to be, we'll see at the end of the race. Anybody can be punted off or dip a wheel in the gravel or on the grass and around the Brands GP circuit and end up race one gone, and that's your title gone basically. So that's next weekend. It's literally it's like surviving the first two races, then having a final race shootout. It's been like that a couple of times. I've actually been at Brands when it's been like that, and it was great to be involved with, the atmosphere, and that was when Dan Camish snatched a break and ended up going straight on at Silverstone. Not Silverstone, at Brands Hatch. Sutton's speaking to Goodman just now, and he's kind of saying that. He's saying, as much as he wants to go for it, he's really ahead of well, apart from Ingram, all the other championship contenders are behind him. So, does he need to do much in this race apart from hold station or follow Ingram round? Be great to see Chrissy get some points. It looks like he's had a bit of a difficult weekend. I'm sure he'll tell us when we speak to him, but yeah, it just seems to one of those where he's had a little bit of bad luck in race one. Then race two, just you end up in the train round here. But yeah, end of championship. You can't get much better than this, can you? If it's we'll see what Turks ends up doing. Where is Turks again? Where is he? Where is the old boy? 14th, is it? 13th, of course, because Stephen Jelly let him pass, didn't he? Teammate. So I'm a little bit behind the viewing, so if you're not watching on TV, it won't matter, but you'll probably see it on the timing screen and on the little map. But the actual live footage that I'm watching, the visuals are a little bit behind this time. I'm going to sort that out for the next time. I need to get a little adapter so my monitor can work with my TV, Sky. Turks will be good to watch because Jelly will obviously look after the back of him. Ash Hand's done really well getting up to 21st. He could be one to watch. Got himself up to 21st from basically he started from the back, race one. Oh, I think he just said it was a fuel line that went wrong on Ricky Collard's car there. It's all sorted and the car's back out. That's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. 2 hours, car was on fire. 2 hours later, and he's racing again. So we're going to hear a bit from Rick Parfitt on the TV just now. I'll just listen in. He said again, this is the second time. This is the second time this weekend that Parfitt said that the Infinity's reached the end of its life. Interesting. It's interesting that Parfitt's saying that he locked up in race two, and that's how Hamilton went in the back of him. I actually thought Hamilton was at fault. But that's Yeah, that's the second time I've heard Parfit say that it's the end of the Infinity's life. He just says that it's an old dog and he just wants rid of it. Um, yeah, but I was playing pinball. You just seem to get collected, then try and correct it, and then bashed into someone else's doors, then bashed into someone else's. Um, yeah, I saw Nick Hamill and he went straight in the back of him, but I think Parfit's just said there that he locked his rear brakes. So he says he struggling with the balance of the car massively. Yeah, to watch definitely. Watch Turkington. Taylor Smith and Thompson have done really well. Bobby Thompson and Taylor Smith in the Team Hard cars, 9th and 10th. Team Hard always seem to do okay around here, if I can remember. I think Creasy's highest finishing position prior to. Oh, we might have a delayed start. Is Dexter Patterson's Infinity has stopped. Oh, it's Adam Moffat. Sorry, it's number 16. Delayed start. So I think they'll have another. So they'll need another warm-up lap again. So we're going to have to go through all this again. It's fine. He doesn't have much luck at Silverstone, does Moffat? I remember I think it was when we went actually, Harry, wasn't it? We went and his drive shaft fell out the car off the grid. He wants to go to the pits. He wants to get restarted. You know, it's understandable. It says 21 laps on mine. It says they've knocked a lap off. It's maybe a good question for the fans forum, that one. What cars do we expect to see on the grid next year? If the Infinities are at the end of their life, possibly the Astros are at the end of their life. Hybrid. Is there any other manufacturers who want to be involved in the touring cars because we've got hybrid now? Even though it's a bit of a we've got hybrid, but we're not really using a hybrid engine type thing. It's a bolt-on package. Be interesting. There he is. Bonjour, David. Chambers. Nice to see you've joined us again. So the green flag lap again because Aidan Moffat had to stop. Don't know what's wrong with the car. It was just explaining there what Ricky Collard done, wasn't it? I think he did run back to do something with the ignition, and that's when he got another face full of fumes. So, not the wisest thing to do, but it was probably in the best interest of the car. He wanted to save the car. Broken drive shaft from Moffat. So that's the second time that has happened to him at Silverstone. I think we went there a few years ago, Harry, and we actually watched it fall out the bottom of the car. The Infinities need to go, don't they? I think they are old dogs. I think Rick Parfitt's probably right on that front. Right. Need to see if this timing's going to update itself because it's a bit mixed up just now. I think it might take the first lap to go, so yeah, here we go. We're updated. And I'll be a little bit behind you guys on the start, I think. Here he is, Gled. Nice to see you here, Gled Dog. My money was on Adam Morgan. That's my prediction. I think he's been punchy all weekend, and if he can get them tyres up to speed in the up to what temperature in the first few laps, I think he'll take it. Um, Cars are still on the grid for me, so I think I'll be behind a little bit. I've almost done a full lap and I'm bloody still behind, aren't I? So yeah, what I'm trying to explain is my Skygo is a little bit behind, so I'm basically about. Oh my goodness, Cook nearly got turned. That could have been a whole lot worse, couldn't it? Oh my goodness. Is Oh my goodness. So Cook's been pushed wide by Morgan and they've all taken it, they've all went past. So Ingram's now in first, Sutton's in second. Turkinen will be pulling his hair out at this. They've just gifted him the well, they're not going to let this. They're not going to let this go, are they? This is going to go on and on and on. Who's that going sideways? Is that Shedden sideways? My God, it's elbows out all the way around. So we are Ingram, Sutton, Butcher, Cook, Camish, Morgan, Jackson, Jilton, Taylor. It's close, isn't it? It's very close. Nobody sticks up the inside of Cops, of course. He could have been in that wall, Harry, at that start. Definitely could have been. So Morgan's went out the window then as far as my race win prediction's gone. So that's how much I know. Race 3, anything can happen. I think, like, watch this replay. So he does come right across. And oh, my word. He could have wiped out the front 3, couldn't he? I wonder if Cook just thought he was a little bit further ahead than Sutton than he was of Sutton there, because that was close, wasn't it? So Butcher's after Sutton now. So we've got Ingram, Sutton, Butcher, Cook, Camish, Morgan, Jackson, Chilton, Taylor Smith, Hill, Shedden. There's another replay here that I'm watching. And it's Shedden diving up, but he's wedged between two cars. I don't think there's much Shedden could do there. What was your prediction, Dave? Remember, folks, to slap a like on the stream. Oh, Jade Edwards has been turned by Parfit, but it looks like Powell might have pushed Parfit into that. Yeah, I think Will Powell went in. He definitely did. I think Will Powell went in the back of Parfit. Parfit went in the back of Jade Edwards and turned Jade Edwards. So again, she's in amongst it all because where you are on the grid, Creasy looks like he's dropped a couple of positions. Ash Hand's up to 17th. He's went up 4 positions. Whew. So there's a chance to breathe now, I think. So you said Ingram for the win. Yeah. I mean, I should have really known because he's been at it all day, hasn't he, really? Apart from being pushed back a little bit in race 1. He's been on it. Fastest laps, etc. Well, there's someone sticking the wheel up the inside of Cops. You're not allowed to do that. Yeah, Morgan's in trouble now, isn't he? And Taylor Smith's elbowing his way through. So Butel's on the back of Creasy again. Oh God, there's a lot of them getting roughed up in this race, isn't there? It's hard trying to watch it, take it all in and watch all the times and what's happening, but these moves from Brooklands into Luffield, there's literally 10 cars going through there, side by side, five rows. Absolutely unbelievable. Camish ahead of Cook, but it looked like Cook got the undercut again back. He got the cut back on him, didn't he? Sorry, it was Camish, wasn't it? Camish and Cook. So Cook's went all the way down, hasn't he? So Cook's trying to get back into fourth. Oh no. Power Max Racing. Harry called this. Harry called this. He said there would maybe be some Power Max bothering, and he's called it correct because it is Collard, Ashhand. Ashhand's going over. I think he's want. I think he's wanting a word with him actually, Ashhand, by the look of it. I don't. For me personally, it didn't look like he was going to check on his health. I think he was going to give him a bit of a piece of his mind there. What do you think? Cars stopped. Let's see if we can see what cars were stopped. Oh, he's just checking he's okay, okay. I didn't think he was. Not by his body language, but yeah. Not a great day for Ricky Collard, is it? His first race went on, second race went on fire, and what's happened? Can we see what went on in there? I think Ash is stuck on the outside, isn't he? I think Ash Hans. Oh my goodness. Basically, yeah. So basically, what happened was Collard was avoiding a direct collision with Morgan, I think it was, and because Morgan was already in a spin, and then Ashan was already on his way to the scene of the accident. So safety car already, that bunches us all back up and we can start it all again, can't we? So we do have Ingram, Sutton, Butcher, Camish, Cook. Chilton's made his way up to 6th quietly. Jackson, Hill has made his way up to 8th. Shedden, Taylor Smith, Thompson. Let's have a little check on Turkington. I wonder where he is ended up in all this. Let's have a little look. Turkington's up to 15th, so he's not really in all of that. I think he's maybe tried to avoid a few bits of... He's only in 15th, Turkington. Scary start, that one. Keep on showing us it, but it was a bit of a scary start. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Glad it was. They were lucky to see it, weren't they? They're breaking into that corner to go right. There's a big gaggle of cars in front of you. Then suddenly there's a car facing the wrong way in the middle of the corner. So I think Collard basically speared left, and that just took hand out the race. You'll see now, look, so hands on the outside of the corner, Collard's on the inside. Collard sees the BMW spun, has to turn left, and he just collects the front of hand. That there's not much they can do. They two drivers. It's just it seems to be it's kind of the characteristic of where you are on the British touring car grid. If you're towards that rear third, which I keep talking about, the mid pack to the rear third of the rate, you've got people going through, people who are at great pace, like trying to make up places, and then what happens is if there's an incident mid corner or in front of you, every chance is you'll be collected somehow, even trying to avoid it. So Creasy 17th, he's up 2 places. He could still get points yet, Creasy, if he gets his head down, and I mean, he's the only Power Max car in the race now, so Creasy could get his head down. Needs to get past Robo, and well, there's Turkington in front. Turkington's actually dropped 2 places, hasn't he? Oh, see the replay of Cookie getting an absolute smash in the rear. Held on to it. Unbelievable. Absolutely madness. Absolute madness, isn't it? Some of this racing. Yeah, someone tags Shed and then he goes into the back of Morgan. Often when you see a car turning up to a corner sideways, there's been contact prior. So Ingram will be fuming now, won't he? Because basically he's going to be backed up. Ingram's basically going to be backed up to Sutton now. Yeah, that was the other one. That was Parfit, Powell, and Edwards all smashing into each other. Ah, Morgan's in the pits. It's a shame. It's a shame, but that car has seen a bit of a. I'm pretty. I'm pretty sure that Morgan's car will not set anything like how it was set up. Anyway, we're off. We're going again, aren't we? Sutton will not let him run away like Butcher did in the race 2. That is my prediction. Well, it help. 2 front-wheel drive cars. Oh, the top 7 front-wheel drive cars, I believe. So Ingram's away. You always get the jump, don't you? You always get the jump. Who's car number 28 straggling at the back? I think it could still be on the lead lap. Oh, I always feel tired, honestly. Now I know what Rich feels like. I always feel tired. It's Ash Hand, is it Ash? Ash Hand's back doing laps? No. Oh my goodness. Oof, more contact, but again, Hill looks punchy, and Hill has managed to get himself up to 7th, and Sheddon's followed him. Stopped on track. Car number 28 is Nicholas Hamilton. He is stopped on track. So safety car again. Gives us time to breathe, boys, doesn't it? Oof. No, it wasn't Collard's fault, Harry, looking at that. The natural, when your car's loaded the way he was going into that right-hand corner, the natural way to turn would have been left, wouldn't it? Because he probably couldn't turn any more right. So the natural way for him to go would be left, and Hand was just on the outside, and he only just caught the front of Hand's car actually. Hand was fuming, I think, because from his point of view, I think all he would have seen was the Toyota fly across the front of him. The onboards, yeah, the onboards are always interesting, but I think from where I saw it, it looked like. Yeah, it's been a safety car in every race, at least one. I think there was 2 in the last race, and there's been 2 in this race so far. Just listen to Parfit talking. He doesn't seem a happy boy, does he? He seems dejected to me. I think they add here. I think they add up to maybe 3. So we're at lap 24. Where is Parfit anyway just now? Are they just talking to him because he's the only one with a camera in there? He's not doing too bad actually, Parfit up in 22nd. I mean, his car's still going around the track, which is more than you can say for. Is he leading Infinity? No, Patterson's up ahead of him. So. Oof. Yeah. He's done well to keep going there, Parfit, isn't he? Let's be honest with you. What do we think of the stream layout anyway, lads? I mean, it's all new. I just threw this together because this is the first time we've done a stream today. We've done 3 streams today. We've tried to get it so that you can all see everything properly, and I don't know how it looks visually when it's being watched on YouTube. Yeah, Parf's Infinity looks brilliant, doesn't it? the colour scheme in that. I wonder if he'll still compete next year, Parfit. Oh, that's good, Glad. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'll change little bits probably every stream, just like you do, just try and get it. And the idea is we might be able to do a bit of a fans forum on here, where we can get a couple of folk on a Zoom call and just go through go through these if go through incidents after races. We can definitely want to do a little bit of fan forums things, especially on the either build up to brands and after brands or both. Depending if I'm going, if I am going to brands, then I'll definitely do a pre one and a post one so that we get a bit of live time on YouTube. Because the whole point is that we try and build up some tin top and BTCC type stuff on this TSKF1 where Rich does quite a lot of bits. We'll try and work it all together and get more followers overall. That should help. Anyway, I've missed the start again, haven't I? Because I'm a bit delayed. It's gone green. Sutton hasn't been caught napping this time. He's still within under half a second behind him. But then you see the concertina effect. Look at the 1 second, 1.6, 1.9, 2.4. The concertina effect going backwards is if you're further back, you just cannot get close to the person in front. So Sutton fastest lap. 57.794 lap time is, I do have it written down, the quali lap. I think it's a fair bit off the quali lap. Butcher's quali lap was a 57.374. So about half a second off quali laps. But those three are starting to break away a little bit, aren't they? Butcher, Ingram, Sutton and Butcher. Cookie's still knocking on the door though. Jake Hill's done brilliant there. So Jake Hill up into 6th. He really is pushing for this championship, Jake Hill. I am, Dave, sorry, to go back to that, I'm surprised that Parfit competed this year. Just the murmurings and from last season and after a few accidents and don't know. I do think it's difficult if you come from something with such high etiquette, racing wise, as GT racing, to come in touring cars. It'll feel like you're in stock car racing. Even though I think it's majority of the time the driving standards are fine, but there is times where everyone loses their head a little bit. But so Creasy up to 17th, still stuck behind Robo. What is the lap times looking like? Let's have a little gander. Lap times to Robo, Creasy to Robo. He's only 300 behind him, so he could make a go on. Fastest lap. What is the saying, Harry, when he gets an absolute best in Sector 1 for Ash Sutton? Jake Hill podium? We are on lap 17 of 24. We have lost cars number, I believe, 16, 21, 28 and 97. So where are we now? Where are we now? Where are we now? We are on lap 18 of 24. An absolute best glad by Jake Hill. 57.582, which is only less than 200. Well, it's just 200ths of a second off the fastest qualifying lap. So Jake Hill is absolutely on it. So you can see they're all in little gaggles themselves. There's little splits, isn't you? You've got your little front gaggle. It looks like Ingram's kind of broke away from Sutton a little bit now. Jake Hill's going to be on the back of them soon. He's got to... Yeah, car number 24 is Hill. There's every chance Hill could catch the back of Butcher here. See that Ford cocking its leg on that right hand Beckett's hairpin. Looks now they're in a drag race. Now they're in a drag race, the hybrid. So now we're seeing Hill has obviously went past Camish. A little bit delayed on that one, sorry guys. But that's a great move by Hill. Performance-wise, I don't think that Focus is quite at the races yet, if I'm honest with you. I even see that with Sutton, you know, just with his racecraft and how quick he can push that Focus. I don't think it's quite there yet. I did say that. I did say Jake Hill could get a podium out of this, the way he's driving. I think the Napa Racing boys were shaking their head and shrugging their shoulders, and I think it'll probably be at the straight line speed of Jake Hill. Which we have to admit, when we were at Snetterton, you could visually see the straight line speed of the BMWs without hybrid being quicker than the front wheel drive cars. So they were just saying there that right now Ash Sutton would go into Brands Hatch 5 points ahead of Jake Hill, if I heard that correctly. We'll run down that at the end. Nah, Tux is not moving anyway. Hill's 57.582 is an absolute best. So Harvey in the commentary is trying to justify the speed difference between the BMW and the front wheel drive car, and what he's saying is that the exit from Beckett's has got a far better launch from the rear wheel drive cars, so by the time you get to the end of that straight, the BMW's obviously got more speed behind it. So I mean, he's got a point. You could probably straighten up the BMW and get the power down quicker out of Beckett's hairpin. Interesting looking at the lap times. I mean, sector-wise, Jake Hill. Yeah, sector-wise, Jake Hill is quicker than... Sector 1, he's quicker than everyone. Sector 2, he's about the same as everyone else. So they can't have that big an advantage in Sector 2, can they? Sector 3... Yeah, I think he's a couple of tenths quicker in Sector 3, so... Doesn't look like they're closing it up too much though, does it? It is, of course, the Brands Hatch GP course, isn't it? So that's interesting as well. Tuckington is still struggling a little bit. He is in 11th, and he's probably going to get 10th if he can get past Taylor Smith, which I believe is his fellow countryman. Tuckington could still finish 9th. 9th would give him 7 points, which is better than a kick in the teeth. But it doesn't mean much when you've got Ingram and Sutton both collecting 20 and 17 points, respectively. It's a good view that they've got on board when you see the flashing hybrid. But I think Ingram's checked out. I think Sutton could be holding up Butcher slightly, but not enough for him to make a lunge on him. And then Hill could join the party. Shedden's got Chilton. So, yeah, so Shedden gets the move done on Chilton to take him up into 7th. It goes a little bit wide. He might have to give that back. Chilton's back up. Chilton's back up the inside of him. Good racing, isn't it? Have you watched the race between Chilton and Shedden? It's been really good racing. And then he gets the undercut. Then he's going to be back up the straight if he gets the car straight. Brilliant. It really, I mean, oh, bit of contact between Shedden and Chilton there. I don't think anybody wanted contact. I think it was just a little bit of pushing their tyres to the last. So this final lap. And yep, Ingram wins the race. So Ingram takes first, Sutton second, Butcher third, Hill fourth, Camish fifth, Cook sixth, Chilton seventh, Shedden eighth. Jackson held on to a good ninth, Taylor Smith 10th, 11th Lloyd. So, you know, that means that Turkington finished 12th. So 12th is only 4 points. So, I mean, Jake Hill's had an absolute blinder today, hasn't he? So what do we make of that then? What do we make of that? I don't know how that leaves the championship. We're just going to see it just now. Oh, was it 12? Dan Lloyd's done okay. So, I do. It is 2 weeks till Brands Hatch. I do believe that means that there's 4 contending for the title on the last race of the season. He's over the moon, Ingram, doesn't he? I mean, it's hard to pick who I'd want to win the championship. I'd say Hill or Ingram because none of them have won a championship before. Should be a good one, yeah. Chrissy dropped back to 20th there, so I don't know what went on. Bit of I call it a frustrating weekend for Chrissy in that car. I mean, he was stuck behind Robo for the whole weekend, and Robo had 3 18th places in a row, so. I mean, Sutton's proven, isn't he? If he's even a contender, I think he's proven how good he is. Like, it would be cool to see him win it. So there we go. It's Sutton on 345, Jake Hill on 340, Tingram on 338, and Turkington on 318. So 27 points cover the top 4 drivers. And 27 points and there's 60 points for grabs. And the likelihood of them all finishing 1, 2, 3, 4 or in some sort of fashion is probably unlikely, so it's going to be a tough one. Who wins the title then? Who wins this title then? It's a break now on ITV. I'm going to see if I can find some other information on the internet. But, I mean, that was a great day of racing, wasn't it? I mean, I'm knackered after watching that, but the problem with Turkington is you can never write him off, can you? You can never write him off because he's he's just done it all. He's done it all multiple times. So I think BMW will wrap up the constructors anyway by the look of it because Jake Hill and Turkington are doing so well, and they had a quite a big point advantage coming into this one. So it will just, I think WSR will win that anyway, and then it goes down to the drivers in the drivers' championship. So, but like you said, if Turks qualifies well at Brands and the rest of the title contenders, Sutton, Ingram, and Hill finish further down the field, Turks gets a win, and you can just eat away at that title. It can go to the last race. It can definitely go to the last race. But yeah, it was an exciting day. Real exciting day. 2 weeks, so 2 weeks today, and we will be closing out the British Touring Car Champions with a uh, Touring Car Championship with a champion. I don't think anyone's updated the titles yet anyway, so it was just whatever we saw on screen. But yeah, looking at, oh, I've pressed the wrong thing, so wait a minute. Look at this, and I can look at a little thing called tracking, not tracking with a statistics. That gives you a little idea of the average speeds. I don't know if you can see that on there actually. Yeah, so it's quite interesting actually when you look at the average speeds because you've got Hill. When I was saying there, it looked like he had far better straight line speed. He's actually fractions ahead in the average speed camera. I mean, the average speed per lap, it's fractions, so they might argue it's enough. But that Hyundai's no slouch, is it? And that had the most amount of leading laps around there. Does it tell me anything else which you can't see on that screen? Yeah, over 1.6 miles. That's quite a high average speed, isn't it? 102.56. 102 mile an hour. It's interesting to see that Ingram was in the bottom two of them speeds, really, and that's just lap history, though, isn't it? Lap 16 is when they clocked them. So the tyres must have started to go off a little bit from there. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, no, cheers for coming in. Yeah, you're right, Dave. I think they've got it about as close as they're going to get it till next season, haven't they? With all this, someone's going to complain, aren't they? But straight line speed, straight line speed. Yeah, cheers, Harry. I'm going to try and do a bit more if I can. I've enjoyed it. It's just quite tiring because, well, it's stressful trying to go live for the first time this morning. But hopefully, as I said, I'll have more up to date. Hopefully, I'll have more up to date kind of footage in front of me, so via my Sky, so that as it happens, I'm reacting to it rather than about 50 seconds later, which seemed to happen today. So Yep, we can always improve. Yeah, yeah. Actually, Harry, if you're still there, that I don't know if it's shown up, but this with my little arrows flying around now, the little track, basically that was going to be kept for if somebody else was watching. So that window on the left-hand side where the track is just now, that would have been for yourself or whoever else wanted to, probably yourself or Rich if you want to be on it. But if I'm going to make up a few scenes on this um, for different kind of, but I don't know. I'd just stick the track somewhere else. I'd just stick it in the middle there, or and move shuffle these around. But it's easy. It's easy enough to sort something out. I've just got to try and figure out how you would do that on Zoom, etc. So I'll talk to the main man about that, I think. So I will just stay on until I've hit listen to the interviews of the drivers. So Ashton's 5 points in the lead, which is nothing, is it? That's 5 points is between first and third. Yeah, catch you later, Dave. Cheers for coming in today. Appreciate it. Butcher's got championship potential. He's a good driver, isn't he? I think Toyota might want to push that car a bit next season. Getting his water bottle in for the sponsors. Jake Hill speaking now. He's right though. Jake Hill's just speaking about how messy the start of the race was. He said he got his door banged by Shedden, but I think Shedden was hit, to be fair. So they're saying that basically Jake Hill's star of the day, rightly so. He's done brilliant. Um, Go and get the dogs chicken sorted. Yeah, watch them back and just like them. Just watch them for 5 minutes and like them if you want, Glad. That'd help. Anybody liking them and that just puts it in front of more people, stick a comment in or whatever. Um, I'm just about done for today anyway. I think that'll be me. Um, it's 6 o'clock. But yeah, so if I am not on in 2 weeks' time for Brands Hatch live, I'll be on probably beforehand to do a kind of review, and then we'll definitely do like a preview, and then afterwards we'll definitely do a review of the season. I think that'll be worthwhile doing. Um, cool. So I will see you soon. Just going to turn this off. I'm just going to turn this off if it turns off. Right, cool. Cheers, folks, for coming along and watching us. It was a good first attempt for us, I think, and I think I'll definitely be doing it in the future. So yeah, see you on the next one.